Ciao, my name is Ron Falconi, and I'm the host of Meet Your Neighbor. I had this idea back in the fall of 2006 where I wanted to invite local politicians, local business people, local people here in the community so that all of you could meet your neighbor. We have a very special guest today. She is a local author and also an Emmy Award-winning director living here in the Brunswick area, and her name is Vicki Stracensky. Vicki, welcome to the studios.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Vicki, can you tell us something about yourself that not too many people know about you?
I've worked in the media for 21 years, so people think I'm good in front of the camera, but I'm really not liking this. I'm good behind the cameras, so I get kind of nervous, so hopefully I'll make it through this.
Oh, no, you're doing great so far.
Thanks.
Hey, I mentioned that you're an author. Can you tell us, can you describe, what your book is about?
My first book is called Wise on Weather, and it was illustrated by famed meteorologist Dick Goddard, who I worked with at Fox 8.
Okay.
And it's a children's book about weather, and the first part is a poem about the different types of weather, and then there's seasonal safety tips, and then at the end there's the definition of 100 weather words, what they really mean, and what children think they mean. So it's entertaining, educational, and it'll span from birth through 4th grade.
Okay, and then how many pages is this here?
I think there's 32 pages in it.
32 pages in here. Okay, can you describe the process of how you got the idea and how it all started?
My children go to St. Ambrose here in Brunswick, and when my oldest son was in 1st grade, they do service projects about the different animals. They were helping animals. So at the end of the year, I thought, why not have Dick Goddard come and talk to them about weather, animals. He loves animals, and he always helps out charities for animals. And I asked him if he would come talk to the students, and he was so kind, and he said yes, he would. And when he went there, he was like a rock star. And to me, he's always been, Dickie-Doo, what computer do you want? And they were all like, wow, he was like huge there.
Yes.
And I thought, why not? Everyone experiences weather, except for hurricanes. We get all kinds of weather in Ohio.
Right.
Why not write a book for children about the different types of weather and have Dick illustrate it? And what people don't know is he has an art degree from Kent State.
So Dick Goddard is an
He's an
artist.
illustrator from Kent State. He has a degree, and he turned down a job at Disney Studios to be a weatherman 50 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So I asked him if he'd draw it, and I thought, put it together, and he said yes, and there you have Wise on Weather.
Can you describe how it all started then? So you had, let me see what you have here. This was your rough draft then?
That's my rough draft.
So
I lucked out when they were having a community day, and they did Milo and the Green Wagon. And I was just sitting there thinking, going, wow, I just need a change, or I wish something would happen. And so the author of that was Lisa Umina. So I called in the directory at St. Ambrose, but that wasn't her, that was her sister-in-law.
Yes.
So then she was kind enough to give me her sister, who's a publisher for Halo Publishing, an award-winning author herself, and so she said that she would take me and do that.
So she kind of took you under her wing.
Took me under her wing because I've never done this, and you sign a contract and you don't know what to do, but she lit the fire, and I'm not good with computers, so this was my rough draft that I showed her.
So this was the rough draft that you
I just printed out. The pictures aren't even colored.
Some of the pictures.
And then she had someone who worked with her, Jane Pescar, who did awesome, because then she handed me this, and I couldn't, in my wildest dreams, have come up with a better layout. It's one of those wow moments, like when you get married or you have children. As far as my career, that was a wow moment when I held her idea.
Okay, so it started out like this.
Yes.
And then you had a proof.
A proof.
That was like this.
And she picked the font, she picked the color, the layout of it, and she picked the style. So when I had all the safety tips, I just wrote it all down, in Word. And she just changed it to make it look bullet points. And then for the definition, she made it look like a dictionary where it'd be more like easier to read for the children instead of just a dictionary. When
you're going through the content of the book, did you get any assistance from anyone else?
Actually, a lot of people. It was kind of like a team effort. My children helped write the poem.
Okay.
So we were swimming once on the pad, and I go, think of all the different types of weather there could be. And then we were coming up with rhyming words, so that was a fun little event. And then for the safety tips, that was more me. I hated seeing bad stories on the news that could have been prevented. So I'm a big proponent of safety. If you ask my kids what's the #1 rule, they'll go safety first. So I kind of did that one. And then for the definitions, Andre Bernier, another meteorologist, he gave me the real definitions where kids could understand them.
Okay.
And then I asked 2 families at our parish. They asked their kids, and I asked my kids for the definitions. And then I took all the answers and put them, the best ones together in the book.
Okay, that's wonderful. And then would you have to get a printer or someone to
Lisa
print out the
took care
stuff?
of all that.
Took care of
She
all
got
that
the ISBN number. I wanted it made in America. My kids were in Cub
course.
Scouts, and back then it was when there was all those toy recalls. So it was really important to me to have it made in America, and she worked. She knew printers there, and she just got it in my hand, and she lit the fire to get it going. Because I would have, I was working full time, had 4 kids, had a lot of excuses, and she just lit the fire to get it.
What was the turnaround time then from the start, from the time that you started until until you had the
finished
product here?
I'm not sure exactly. A couple months. It could have been faster, but I had a lot of people. Like someone had to film the color, so you have to wait for them. Like when people are doing you favors,
Sure.
you have to. And then a teacher proofed it for me, so you have to wait. People are busy,
Sure.
so it was like, you just had to be patient. But the actual making of it, I think it was like 3 weeks in actual print.
Oh, wow.
And then they ship it.
Okay. And then I noticed that you also brought here, because you give speeches, and when you go out in the public, you have these different things that you put up here. First is obviously Wise on Weather.
That's the book, so they can hold in. We do school programs now, and the
School programs
response
is what
has
I'm looking
been phenomenal. And we even went
Okay.
to the Great Wolf Lodge. We went
Yes.
and did their story time there, and the Children's Museum is going to have a Wise on Weather Day. So it's just taken
wow.
off, and we're going to go to safety towns because it's about weather safety, which they don't teach there.
Right.
And it's the different types of weather, so the kids help me, and we do a different shtick for each kind.
Yeah,
so
look at this one. Like, for example,
so
I know
there's
you
the
had this
sun.
one. You have the
Sunny will
you got the sun.
pin the nose on the sun.
So here's the sun, but then here are the things that you.
And then there's the clouds, so
The-
you take off these, and there's different pictures in the clouds for cloudy. So for each different type of weather, like for snowy, they have a powder that you add water to, and then you make the snow, and the kids love that because it just fluffs up like 1,000 times its size.
Oh, wow. Okay. Can you describe you mentioned Dick Goddard, so I'm
Yes.
assuming you have some background in media. Can you describe that for me?
Yes, I graduated from Florida Atlantic University with a bachelor's in communication, but I was on a basketball scholarship, so I really had no experience.
So you're a basketball player.
I'm a basketball player way back in the day. And then when I came here, I didn't know what angle. I just loved media. It always fascinated me. So I actually worked at WKNR. I wrote for the Sun Post and wrote for 2 local publications. And then I worked at Fox 8, and then I DJ'd. So I was doing all those things
you're a
to
DJ
see what I
also.
liked. Yes. And then Big Chuck, I love him, Big Chuck Shadowski. He's like a father to me. He took
As
me
in Big Chuck and Little John.
Big Chuck and Little John, yes.
Okay.
Chuck Shadowski. He lives in Hinckley here.
Oh, he does.
And he's like a dad to me. I love him and his family. I'm so honored to be able to call them friends. But he took me under his wing. He taught me how to direct because he was a director. And then I got to direct his shows, and then it went on from there.
Oh, wow. Okay. No, I know you're very modest, and you're not
Yes.
going to bring this up, but I will. Okay. In the past, off camera, we had the inspiration for Rain Man come to the studios here, Kim Pete, and he brought his Oscar with him. But this is the first time that I believe that I've ever had an Emmy Award-winning director
Yes.
here at Meet Your Neighbor. And you've just won the award, what, twice? Or?
I won 2 Emmys. One's
2
for
Emmys.
directing the 6 o'clock news with Tim and Wilma, and the other one was for Friday Night Touchdown for directing that.
What is it like being nominated and winning the Emmy?
It was exciting. Like you said, I'm kind of modest. People think it's more of a big deal than me. I'm very honored to have received it, and it looks good to say that you've done it. But to me, just having the anchors like Bill and Stacy say you're a great director and working with them, that means more to me to get their approval.
Sure.
But it was, I could say I have an Emmy, which a lot of people can't, so I'm pretty honored.
Yes. You said your background was in, you said you had majored in communications
Yes.
at Florida.
Florida Atlantic University in
Atlantic.
Boca Raton.
Okay, so you
So I
spent your college years down in.
Played basketball for 4 years and was assistant coach my last year there.
Oh,
And my last
okay.
year, I only had 2 classes on a Wednesday night, so it was very nice.
Are you still involved with basketball now, or do you?
I like to help out. No, I'm a little older now, and I could feel it. I'm trying to take karate at practical martial arts with the kids, and I realized, wow, I'm too old to be doing this. But I love sports.
Vicki, you brought some photos with you, so maybe we can take a look at some of them here.
There's me and Mr. Goddard at the Borders book signing. He's
Oh,
been
wow.
so gracious and helpful to me. He lets me come with him on the weekends when he goes places, and he's just been a tremendous support.
Okay.
And he does so much for animals, and there's us at the zoo, another book signing. And it's just so wild to see that people just stop and their jaws drop when they see him, and they just come up and thank him
I
for all
know
he
he's a
does for
local
the
celebrity
animal.
here in northeastern Ohio.
He is, and it's genuine. He gives 100%. And he had a street named after him right outside
Oh, wow.
Fox 8. South Marginal was called Dick Goddard Way, so all the dignitaries were there, and it was a pretty big event. But he's a great guy and so helpful and does so much for the animals.
Yes.
And there's Big Chuck, my dad, I like to say. he let me come to the Gallardi Fest and, put the table right by him. And I played on his basketball team when I first graduated and his all-star team. So that was a lot of fun. Great guys, they have a lot of fun. And there's my kids I took to Fox 8, and that was kind of like a week before a computer replaced my job. So they got to see where I worked for 21 years.
Oh, wow.
My anchor team. And behind them is the computer that took over, that replaced me. And so I was telling them, well, at least then they'll get to see me more than an hour a day. So they were pretty excited.
That's good. And then
there's me. There's where I sat directing. And then just, the sign of the times, computers. And I don't regret it. I had a great time there. I met so many nice people. And I look at it as, go on my faith a lot, and something will work out my next career.
Yeah. This is someone's first communion?
My second son's first communion at St. Ambrose. They all go there. It's a great school, great people there, and we have a good time there. We're pretty active with Cub Scouts and room moms and helping out whenever we can. Yeah. And there's Violet.
Isn't this in Great Wolf Lodge?
That's Great Wolf Lodge. Yeah. That's the mascot, Violet, and they let us come down and do our program there, and the kids had a great time, and the people were phenomenal. And the response has been great. And there's what I like to say, because there's me and my 3 brothers and my daughter, and it's the same birth order that we have. Yes, so we put them together. So I have I kind of live through my kids vicariously. The things I liked, I want to continue to do. The things I didn't like. And there's my mom. She's my biggest inspiration. And everything that I do. It's like if she can do it, and I see what she did with her kids, and she's so giving. She retired. She was a big shot at a bank, and she retired, and now she's working just to help send my kids to school. So I'm very thankful for her.
So you have 4 kids. You're married, and you live here in the Brunswick area.
Yes, Brunswick Hills, which you have to say Medina County, but it's Brunswick Hills.
Yes.
Yes, my husband's John. He works with his brother at JBS Contracting, and they built our house right when we got married, and it'll be 15 years this June.
Okay. And you said you live in the township.
Yeah, Brunswick Hills. Yes.
Brunswick Hills Township. Okay. I know you're really busy when you're not dealing with your book signings or your kids or Cub Scouts or maybe messing around with basketball every now and then. What are some of the things that you like to do for fun?
I love to sleep. I love Days of Our Lives. It's really like the only TV I watch, and I loved it since I was 4. My mom, when we'd stay home from school. And then I like to be creative. Ever since I was in 6th grade and went to Disney, I'm a big dreamer. I took that one course, Living Your Strengths, and my number 1 strength was ideation. So I love to come up with ideas, just turn on the radio and write. I have a whole drawer of little inventions or my little ideations. And so this is the first one, and hopefully I have more books in the works, and hopefully something can happen.
Wonderful. For every guest on the show, I'd like to play a game of fill in the blank, okay?
A test.
Vicki, when I was a child, I blank.
I love to dream. I had 3 boys. I was a tomboy, and I just loved to come up. I was an entrepreneur at heart. We used to play carnivals with the kids on the street and just any ways to be creative. When I worked at the steel mill with my dad, I'd have Vicky's vending. I just always like to come up with ideas.
Oh, that's good. The one place I want to travel to but haven't is blank.
Wow. I used to travel a lot. I would say I've been there on my honeymoon. My mom was gracious enough to send us, and we always said we'd go back in 5 years. Well, then we built a house. My grandma passed away. We tried to have children. Then we had children. So we laughed, saying maybe we can take them back there now, on our 15 year.
Where was that place?
Maui, in Hawaii.
Maui, in Hawaii.
It was beautiful.
Yes.
So I would like to go there. America's beautiful. We have a lot. I always thought I visited probably 27 states when I used to play softball on a traveling team.
Oh, you played softball also?
Yes, I love sports, volleyball, basketball, and softball. So I would love to go, see all 50 states if I, could. That would be
You got over half of them, though.
Yes, I'm more than half.
The person that I admire most is blank.
Oh, like I said before, it'd have to be my mother to
Your
see
mom.
what she's done. She's so giving and so, she has so much energy. It'll be 10. I like to stay up late. I'm an owl. So she'll call at 10, and she's like, I've already been to the gym and are working, and I'm still I'm just waking up, leave me alone. But she's the best.
Vicki, when I retire, I blank.
I guess I'm in a sort of forced retirement now. I would say it's nice to do what you want when you want, but I'm hoping to find another job just to, keep the house and support the children.
Sure.
So hopefully if the book takes off or just one of those other ideas I have, that it'll all work out.
Can you give any neighborly advice to people who are watching in Brunswick, Brunswick Hills, Wadsworth Township, or maybe people watching on the internet right now?
I would just say I wish there was more peace. I mean, it sounds, redundant, but it's there's so much fighting in the world and politics and families. I think there's peace is There's something when all the kids are quiet and you could just sit there and just enjoy a little bit of silence and peace. I think that would be a great thing if there's more peace on earth, literally.
Vicki Stracensky, local author and Emmy Award winner. Please,
Yes.
thank you for coming down to the
Thank you. I
studios
really
today.
appreciate it, Ron.
Yes. Well, my name is Ron Falconi. I'm the host of Meet Your Neighbor. I want to thank Vicki Stracensky for coming down to the studios today and chatting with us. If there's anything more profound to be said, my name is Ron Falconi, and I am signing off. Arrivederci.